point. And then on the fifth line, the beat kicks in. I say kicks in. It has all the gentle but determined energy of somebody doing a Sudoku puzzle while waiting for a bus.
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome back to another Friday episode of the Audiophiles. You know what that means. It is a song devoted to one of our listeners who suggested that we give it a listen, and that's exactly what we're going to do. It is a band and a song that I am familiar with, and that John is only very little familiar with from what we've discussed, because it is a band that we've covered on the channel before, but I think that's pretty much the extent of your knowledge thereof, right, John? This band, Palace,
Yeah,
that we've
yeah,
covered?
just that Be Well track,
Yes, excellent.
which
Well,
you gave to me.
yes, I did. And James Simpson 9376 suggested another track by these guys off the subsequent album. And the name of that track is Heaven Up There. So, we've discussed it. I'm familiar with it. You're not. Writing's on the wall. You're going to be the one to go off and give this thing a listen. And I'd be intrigued to see what you make of this song, this rather spacious song. So, why don't you do us all a favor and go check it out, and then let us know what you think of it on the other side.
An interesting opening. These like little phrases. I think it's a guitar that's gone through some effect. But it's kind of like this phrase that's and then it sort of echoes and ripples and bounces back on each other and comes again. It puts me in mind. I've got this feeling it's similar to an Eno track. I can't think which one. It kind of has that feel. It also sounds a little bit like there's a song I gave Andy ages back when we were on Into the Music. Delacota, the rock. It sounds like a slowed down version of that without the beat. Yeah. Um yeah, it feels like it's almost like waves overlapping each other and bouncing off something and coming back. It's very nice. It's atmospheric.
Well, the night is gone, and the shadows clear. When I hear my song, the grave beneath, see what you want.
I like that. The way he came in with his vocals is that this high, it's almost falsetto. I don't know if it's just kind of bordering on it. But it's unhurried. He just puts out some lines and lets them settle on these little waves before placing the next ones. Is it when the night has gone? and the shadows clear. It's just really, really well done, quite thought out. And then the beat kicks in there. Just kicks in. It kind of just comes in. Again, anything else would have been inappropriate, but it's just right. This is really nicely done so far, and it's building atmosphere.
I'm the force of God. I'm 1,000 lives. I take what I want. 'Cause I'm the frightening sky. I'm a selfish man, designed to die. But is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? 'Cause it's hell down here. Believe in existence, babe.
Now into the full song. That was really nicely done as well. So I think that's the chorus there. It says it heaven up there. It repeats it, and then because it's held down here, I think he said at the end of that. But those little swirling eddies of notes was replaced then with these just straight longer notes. I think it was guitar, but there was definitely some synth in there as well. And then as he repeats them, this I think it's the synth that rises in volume, and then the percussion that's just been gently tapping with that slow beat, sort of taps fervently, so you know you're coming to something. That was really nicely done. I'll just back a little bit.
Heaven up there.
It's extended notes.
Is it heaven up there?
Bass as well, actually.
Is it heaven up there?
It's starting to rise.
'Cause it's hell down here.
Percussion.
Believe in existence, babe. To separate us from them. To know that your blood runs there. Is to live with the truth within. So scrape up the bruise I wear. And eradicate all my fears. Prepare me to walk these stairs. I don't know what my future is. I don't know what my future is. Is it heaven up there? 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 Say I've been blind.
Has a nice little touch there. It's like a half a beat, pause and bang into it. So you get that. Say we've been blind. I think it was isolated for a bit. Interesting there. That verse before the chorus. Those. It's like the guitars are fully formed now from those sort of swirling little phrases. They're now into this nice jangly guitar almost. It sounds beautiful. And then into the chorus again. Again, rather these sort of pick notes, it's proper sound to the guitars. It's picking the notes there, really nicely done. The drums are just doing a little bit more. There's like a half fill at the end of that, but it's just that their presence is stronger without being forceful. It's just really nicely done, and it's all just building all the time, becoming more fully formed and blossoming and blooming out. The whole song, nice.
The use of my time, be a better man.
Since
The crown will stand. Something out there. Just know that I've cared. Do this side by side. Motion with the tide. Is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? 'Cause it's hell down here. Is it hell down here?
So, riding a giant wave, it's just crashed.
I know there's heaven up there. I know there's heaven up there. Yes, there is heaven up there.
So I thought, shit, song's ending. Got a bit caught up in that. That was nice. Yeah, and I like the way it bookended at the end. So you had the return to the beginning sort of sounds of those little echoing phrases. Nice. Yeah, this is a really thoughtful and well put together song that basically took you through this growth. Felt organic. Don't know if it's the thumbnail that's influencing me. I think we've seen before that I can be easily subliminally suggested to. But yeah, this felt almost like plant life growing and unfurling. Yeah. No, I like this. Had a lovely, gorgeous sound to it. I got some lyrics, but not many, to be honest with you. Surprise. Um, Overall tone, I mean, the music just felt like this growth, and then it's almost like a life cycle or something, starting off signs of life and then growing and then blooming and then crashing down. It's like that time-lapse photography of a plant growing and then withering. But I was think with the title, the way he's saying is it heaven up there, perhaps it's to do with the loss of somebody else, and he's asking, are you in a better place? Because it's shit down here without you. something like that. I guess one way of finding out is returning and talking with Andy. So let's do just that.
All right, and he's back. So, as we discussed, you've listened to Live Well. You've now listened to this song that was offered up by James Simpson. What do you think of it? How do they hold up together? What was your experience like?
Yeah, it was interesting. I have to say, the whole song's on a gradient, sound wise, and so I had it whacked up to 100. So if my voice sounds really loud at the beginning, not my fault. That's what I'm saying. So it starts with these echoing phrases from a guitar through various pedals and shit. And these little phrases kind of ripple and echo back across each other. And it reminded me initially of there's a song way back that I gave to you when we we're on Into the Music called The Rock by Delacota.
Mhm.
And it reminded me of that, but a slowed down version without the drum beat. There's a so if you imagine it slow, that it was similar in its feel. It was really pretty. And it also, for some reason, just what it was doing, sort of the way the sound was moving, it put pictures in my mind. That's what it does.
Mhm.
And it put me in mind of the Blue Wave Machine from the cult film Diva. And if you're aware of this French film, very cool film. Lots of interesting bits in it. There's a whole room that's done up in the sort of colors and the sort of branding of Gaulois cigarettes. And there's this Perspex. This is from memory, so it's probably wrong. But there's this Perspex case, and in my mind, it's about 5 foot long. It may not be. And it's a rectangle, and within it, it's this blue liquid, which I believe is kind of like the same liquid you get in lava lamps.
Mhm.
And this thing slowly tilts seesaw backwards and forwards, and what you get is this constant wave going through. And because of I don't know if it's some sort of like, my physics fails me here. I'm going to say Newtonian liquid, but it's not. But it's one of these ones. So what happens is the wave crests and falls in slow motion as you're watching it. And it's only small, there's only like that big,
Mhm.
but it's really fascinating. It goes into the side and comes back. And this is what these little phrases were doing. So it was like a couple of these machines, maybe one blue and one pink, but they were doing that and overlapping each other. So it was hypnotic.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. That's what I'm saying. So long.
No. And to be fair, I've not seen this film. I've not even heard of it. But the visuals that you're describing and having heard the song, I can totally see how there's this connection point for sure.
And I have made a note to go and look on Google to see if there's any that are available for sale, because they're just like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that. It's some things you really want. Yeah. Anyway, the singer then begins, and he's got this I can't ever remember his voice from before. I remember the guitar tone the most from the previous song.
Mhm.
But it has this high voice. It's almost falsetto, but I don't think it is. It's just it's on the borderlands, of falsetto, and his voice wafts perfectly over these waves. And what I really like for the first 4 or 5 sort of phrases, bars, lines, whatever you want to call them, they're unhurried. So he lets each line settle before he delivers the next one. So, well, the night is gone and the shadows clear. And it's just really nicely done. And it's perfect for the sort of tone and the atmosphere of the song at this point. And then on the 5th line, the beat kicks in. I say kicks in. It has all the gentle but determined energy of somebody doing a Sudoku puzzle while waiting for a bus. It's just, again, totally appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the verse progresses at this philosophical pace until we get to the chorus, where he asks, is there heaven up there, a couple of times, because it's held down here. These sort of, I would call them the eddies, those like sort of little fractured phrases that are rippling, are replaced for the chorus by these long notes instead, which create sort of anticipation. Um, and sure enough, this sort of percussion tapping that's been going, I don't sort of noticed it, but it has been going since the drum started, that soft thumping bass drum. You got this percussion, and those taps change to cymbal hits, and the whole thing comes up, and then the song unfurls as those earlier sort of phrases bloom into fully formed guitar parts jangling in the sun. You can see subliminally the thumbnail had a big impression on me. So the drumming also becomes more expansive. It's not John Bonham, but it's just more touches and flow and mini flourishes. I mean, he never does a complete fill, I don't think, or you call like 3 hits a fill, but it's just like little bits more, which again, it's really thought out, really controlled, which I really like about this. So then we get to the second chorus, which is bigger in sound and ambition. There's double track vocals. The extending notes are replaced by this lovely picking action, and it feels like fingers reaching out. And there's a rising synth sort of background layer, which I think might have been there before, and I just didn't notice it. But again, it builds up. And then when we get to the point there, we get this semi break for like half, 3/4 of a second. So you get there's just a little bit of his vocals in isolation, and then the jangle, and it comes back in with a big synth chord, which is a real crowd pleaser. And of course, it's pleasing. It brings it all back into the next verse with the same volume, but again, the picking notes now get switched back to those extended notes again. They keep swapping them around, which gives a different feel each time. And then it's joined in with some nice ooze. Ooze. So layer upon layer, there's even more lush pick guitar comes back in. It's riding this sort of grand wave. And like I mentioned before, as all waves do, they crash. And it goes down. And we get the sort of remnants of these eddies notes. Again, it's like the spume from just fooling around. And the gentle vocal sort of takes us to the beginning, the bookending, so the beginning of the song, and again fade out. The whole song to me felt very organic. I mean, it is just a wave, as it were, but it could almost be one of those time lapse films of a plant breaking through the earth, climbing up towards the warmth of the sun, opening of its limbs in variegated splendor, and then the song blooms to life, revealing its time in the sun, and then it withers and returns to earth. So yeah, mixed metaphors all around. But what I will say briefly is I really like this. I actually liked it more than the one you gave me. So there you go. But yeah, it was quite an epic song of like really broad in terms of like sound and ambition, but it really worked. Sometimes you feel these things are forced or planned and there's signposts all the way, but this did feel organic and felt a real pleasure to listen to.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. It is a great song. I wasn't going to foist a 7-minute plus song onto you as the first song that I gave to you. But awesome by James for lighting a fire under our ass to bring more Palace back to the channel. And he picked a really great song by them as your sort of second dalliance into their sound. I would say that like you were spot on about sort of this organic life cycle type vibe that you got from the music, and it is perfect for the subject matter that is being discussed here, right? Sort of like this going
yes
through, so there's this it connects there on an interesting level, and I like that choice by them.
I forgot to say I didn't catch much lyrics. I caught bits here and there. So my overall impression from the title as well and from that chorus is something to do with loss and somebody else that he's like, he's saying, I mean, very literally, is it heaven up there because it's hell down here means that, we miss you. It's not the same without you. Thinking it's something to do with loss anyway.
Yeah.
It feels like that sort of, expansion of life and then returning.
Yeah, or maybe even as you're down here slogging it out, this hopefulness that I think probably hits all people as they make their way through life, that good God, there's got to be something better on the other side of this. Please don't tell me that this is it. There's got to be something better after all this, because as he said, it's hell down here, living this life. So please tell me that there is some sort of respite on the other side. So yeah, I think either of those are pretty decent interpretations, and we'll get into a bit of what I was able to pick up and find out as well when I researched the lyrics of the song. But first, let's jump into and recap a little bit about the band, and then jump more into this album and this song in particular, since again, we've already covered them on the channel. So if you want to find any more details about how they got together and all that stuff, you can look into the other video. But a quick recap, as I said, they are a British alternative rock and blues rock band from London, consisting of Leo Wyndham on lead vocals and guitar, Rupert Turner on guitar and backing vocals, Matt Hodges on drums and percussions, and Harry Deacon on bass and backing vocals. Deacon replaced Will Dorey in 2017. So I think Dorey appeared on the first album, and coincidentally, I think this album was, because it was their second album, it was released as a 3-piece. So they didn't, I don't think they had a formal bass player on the album. Now, I'm sure once they toured for it, that's when they brought in Deacon, and he's been sort of carrying the mantle as bass player ever since then. But they were a trio, I believe, when this album came out. The band has released 4 full-length studio albums to date, and this track, Heaven Up There, was featured on their 2019 album entitled Life After. The album was recorded by the then trio sans Dorey, and before the introduction of Deacon as the new bass player, and the band have performed several headlining tours worldwide, in addition to playing at major music festivals, including Glastonbury in 2016 and 2019, and Coachella in 2024. So, writing for the North American online music publication Ear Milk, which I love to have in my cereal every morning, Sean Caden wrote a review of this track and said this: "With Heaven Up There, Palisade makes all the right choices as they land inside an ethereal rock landscape for those to find true comfort within. The 7-minute-plus expedition is spacious but not too meandering, as it drifts with dreamy intentions along the way." He would add, "The 3-piece act once again becomes reflective, balancing the notions of life and death with the pursuit of something with deep purpose to achieve. The introspective single displays the band's adept guitars and Wyndham's wistful vocals." And the Guardian's Phil Mongredian reviewed this album for the publication and had this to say: "There's an organic warmth to the arrangements on Life After. Rupert Turner's guitar and Matt Hodges' drums foregrounding Wyndham without ever stealing the spotlight." And DIY's James Bentley reviewed the album and had this to say in his article: "Palace's songwriting is mature and poignant, and pervasively somber, as clearly signposted by the titles of the opening and closing tracks, Life After and Heaven Up There. Both provide standout moments, from the former's grandiose strings providing a foil to Leo Wyndham's yearning lyrics. After she's gone, I'm fragile like porcelain. I've been writing this song to help you breathe again. The latter, meanwhile, floats through dynamic peaks and extended plateaus for a brave 7 minutes." So I think that's an excellent way of describing the song that we just listened to and that we're talking about. It does have all this space, and it is, whenever you're endeavoring to write a song, or you're just writing a song and it happens to be over 7 minutes, you've got to do a lot to keep the attention and to give it heft. And I think this song has this in spades. In fact, the earlier synopsis of the track mentions this sort of ethereal nature to it. Again, when a song is about heaven, I think you're obligated to give it sort of this ethereal nature. And I think they killed it in doing just that. So let's hop into these lyrics. While the night has, pardon me, while the night has gone and the shadows clear, when I hear my song, will the grave be near? See what you want, but I'm the rising tide. I'm no force of God, I'm 1,000 lives. I take what I want because I'm the frightening sky. I'm a selfish man designed to die. But is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? 'Cause it's hell down here. Believe in existence spent to separate us from them. To know that your blood runs thin is to live with the truth within. So scrape up the bruise I wear and eradicate all my fears. Prepare me to walk these stairs. I don't know what my future is. I don't know what my future is. Is it heaven up there? 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 Say I've been blind for the use of my time. Want to be a better man on the ground where I stand. There's something out there. Just know that I've cared. Do this side by side, motion with the tide. Is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? Is it heaven up there? 'Cause it's hell down here. Yes, it's hell down here. Is it heaven up there? I know there's a heaven up there. I know there's a heaven up there. Yes, is a heaven up there. So I found this nice little synopsis. Palace's song Heaven Up There delves into the profound themes of mortality, self-reflection, and the existential quest for understanding the afterlife. The lyrics present, forgive me, the lyrics present a narrative of someone who is contemplating their life and the inevitability of death, questioning the existence of a heavenly afterlife in contrast to the hardships experienced on earth. And the repeated question, is heaven up there, serves as a central motif reflecting the universal human curiosity about what lies beyond this life and whether there is a place of peace and respite from the world's suffering. I think that's pretty spot on, to be honest with you. And I think once you sit down and you can actually hear the lyrics read rather than sifting through them as the music plays, it kind of hits you. But I also found it interesting that you had all these interpretations and visions of the motions of water and liquid and how they flow and ebb and recede. And there's literal allusions to the waters at points in the song as well. So whether that was subliminal or subconscious on your part, it definitely there's yet another connection point to the meaning of the music and the literal lyrics of the music and just the vibe and the feeling of the music that's been written here. So yeah, really, really great song. I think when you hear it alone, it makes sense as the last track on an album. That is even magnified more when you listen to the whole album, and this is how it wraps up because it's got final track of an album written all over it. Sort of this 7-minute epic that fades into, the ether, and you're just left there going, that was a pretty good one. So glad you liked it, man.
Well, I will say, I didn't even notice what the length of the song was, to be honest with you.
Fair. Well, that's another great sign of a long song, well written. If it kind of like you don't even notice that it was longer than your average 3 or 4 minute tune. So good job on Palace. Good job on James Simpson 9376 for offering this one up. This is a great tune. Thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. John, glad you enjoyed it as well. Everybody out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of this track by Palace. If you enjoyed it, if it reminded you of anything else, if you've got any songs yourself that you'd like to offer up by any band, please feel free to drop it down below. If both of us are familiar with it, we won't touch it, and we'll be completely candid with you about that. But if it's new to at least one of us, it'll certainly make the list. So please feel free to offer up whatever you've got. Also, while we have your attention, please like, share, and or subscribe if you have not already. It's hugely helpful in pushing out all of our content to other people on the internet. And we always like to kind of cast a wide net, bring in as many people as possible so that we're all getting in on the new music sharing with one another. So thank you very much for that. And hopefully John and I will see all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.